All righty, it's time for Good Morning Pagosa. Happy Friday, everyone. It's the fourth Friday of April, and I am delighted to be over here at the Pagosa Springs Medical Center once again for our show, and I have a special guest today. It's James Sneed. He's the radiology technologist here at the hospital. And good morning, James.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah. We just had a tour of the new MRI, and that was just fascinating. And we're going to talk about that today. But first, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here and all that.
Okay. I went to school at Appalachian State University in Boone, North Carolina. I got my bachelor's degree, and then I went to Greenville Technical College, and I have an associate's in radiology, and then I have another associate's in magnetic resonance imaging. I moved to Colorado as soon as I finished school, and I've been here since 1988.
Wow.
And I've been full-time in MR for 35 years. I also do X-ray, CT, and surgery. And I can scan on both GE systems and Siemens MRIs. I worked in Summit County for 10 years, and I worked with Summit County Ambulance for 6 years. And I came down here to the Four Corners in 2000 in order to do applications on a new CT and MR at the old Mercy on Park Avenue. And I worked for Mercy, and then I was the radiology manager for Animas Surgical, and I was there for 10 years and set that up as a Siemens site with both Siemens MR, CT, and fluoroscopes.
Wow.
I came over to Pagosa in 2015, and I'm their primary MRI tech. And I live in Bayfield. I've been over there about 23 years.
Wow. I'll tell you what, that was just an amazing tour of the new MRI. We've talked about it on the show for a while, for years, and I remember the trailer out back, and I know you're going to talk about the differences and the change and the new equipment. So I'll just let you take it away. How's that, James?
Okay. Originally, in 2007, 2008, the beginning of the hospital, we were leasing a GE scanner on a tractor trailer rig, and it was originally shared with Del Norte, but there were problems in logistics with transporting it over Wolf Creek, calibration errors. It's very time consuming. And the old GEs, they were very loud. They were in a metal box, a trailer, so that we call that the scan in the can. It was rather deep, and it was very close quarters, about a 50 centimeter bore. And that induces patient anxiety, claustrophobia, and that runs about 15% of all patients in the general population.
15% experience that those.
About 15% of all patients have anxiety or claustrophobia in the scanner. Wow. About half of that number can take sedation meds, such as oral medication. And then the other 7% requires sedation with IV drugs. We do not do that here at Pagosa. But we have a new, much larger scanner, and our claustrophobia rate has dropped, probably to less than 2% now.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2019, Pagosa Springs Medical Center decided to purchase the new scanner and take ownership. So they bought a new Siemens scanner from Germany. And
this thing's amazing, people.
It is a very large,
listeners.
Very beautiful scanner.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good move by administration to step up on the purchase, and it is exactly what we wanted. It is a Siemens Altea. It is a 1.5 Tesla magnetom, and it's a newly developed scanner. It has a big bore on it, which means a large opening. The tube is also much shorter, and it's open on both ends, and so is the entire room. And because of this, we've reduced our patient anxiety and claustrophobia approximately to 2%. Another important thing about MRI is that there is no radiation. It uses radio waves to see soft tissues in the presence of a large magnetic field. And we have basically a radio antenna for all body parts.
Yeah, they're all there. Yeah, everything you can imagine.
Yes.
So, yeah, you switch those out depending on the patient's needs. And
yeah, we deploy the antennas based on what our protocol is for scanning. We have Dr. Jessica Cox here. She is a radiologist with RIA, and she is a MRI musculoskeletal reader. So she reads joints and musculoskeletal issues. She has other colleagues who read neurological, and another group of colleagues who reads what we call body MRI, which is organs such as the kidneys, the spleen, the liver, and the pancreas. Those are our primary targets. Most of our scans run 30 minutes without contrast. But we do have 1 hour scans, 1 hour slots with contrast, and we have up to 2 hour slots for specialized abdominal imaging.
Wow.
We've also been able to add breast imaging to the magnet, and we have extended our hours. We're now running 10-hour days, and we run about 10 slots per day.
So, wow. So what? So someone is assigned to get an MRI. What is that process like? What should they expect?
Well, you'd see your physician, and a physician, nurse practitioner, PA would order an MRI exam. Now, MRI exams are expensive tests, so they go through a process of authorization with your insurance company. And we typically book scans, I would say, within 2 to 3 days. Sometimes the process takes longer. But you can expect a scan to last, like I said, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or even up to 2 hours. And the best thing the patients can do is just wear clothes that are metal-free, zipper-free, bras without clips or slides, so sports bras work very well. We like stretchy pants, we like t-shirts, pajamas, and workout clothes that have no metal. But if you were to come here after work or you need to change, we have gowns and we have shorts available that we can put you in. Basically,
don't forget the.
Go ahead.
The music. You could listen to KWUF or Spotify or whatever, and just to relax, right?
We do have music with headphone set. We have earplugs. Scanners are very loud, but this one is much more mellow compared to the prior scanner. The older scanner was very loud, fairly tight, and it was a scary scanner. But the new one is not. And you can expect that if you're having a head first scan, that's for head, neck, shoulders, upper extremities, where you load head first into the scanner. We scan everything at center. You can expect to load feet first for the scanner for the lumbar spine, pelvis, hips, and lower extremities. On those scans, typically your head will be outside of the scanner. So it should not be a problem. It's very easy for those scans. And when you're done, it'll be reviewed and read by the radiologist, either the on-site radiologist, Dr. Cox, or off-site to our colleagues in Denver. Reports typically turn around in the next 24 to 48 hours. And new for Pagosa Springs that we've trained 2 more technologists to operate the scanner, which allowed us to extend hours. And we typically scan from 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. And we've been able to add breast MRI scanning, and we also have a new 3-dimensional mammography unit And Dr. Cox does biopsy and can do ultrasound guided biopsy as well.
And James, you mentioned on Wednesday, is that the special Women's
Day? We typically do is our Women's Day.
Yeah.
And we do breast imaging, and Dr. Cox does biopsies, either ultrasound guided or 3-dimensional mammo stereotactic biopsy as well.
Yeah. So you got it covered. This is amazing. And it took a lot of work. I mean, the dollars were huge for this, the weight of the magnet, so the logistics of getting it in this building and setting it up, all amazing. Yeah,
there were delays with COVID on the transport.
Yeah, so it's about a year old now.
It's about a year old. It took us about 13 months to get it here.
Wow.
But it only took us about a week to install it. And it's
is it manufactured in Germany? Or?
It is manufactured in Germany. They're all hand-built scanners. As far as I know, there are 2 of the Altea scanners here. There's one in Denver, and Pagosa has the other.
Wow.
This scanner has a bigger brother. The bigger brother is rated for 750 pounds. There's one of those.
So it has a bigger bore.
It's a bigger bore.
To fit a person.
And it is twice as powerful. It is a 3 Tesla scanner.
Wow.
Whereas their scanner is a 1.5. It's a real workhorse. It covers a lot of exams. And it does a very good job. It's actually faster than the old scanner, but it has more capabilities, and therefore we just take a lot more pictures in the same amount of time.
Yeah, wow. How many pictures in a half an hour or an hour are you taking? Is it like a little, like a video thing, or is it more?
No, we actually collect radio data
and
convert that into a 2-dimensional image. We do have the capability to do 3-dimensional imaging as well, which we do for the brain when we map the arteries of the brain, which we can do that now without contrast.
Yeah. And you said without radiation, which is...
There is no radiation on MRI machines, and there are no side effects as far as we know. However, we are looking for pacemakers, and because the scanner can turn them off. And we're also looking for hearing aids. We don't want any hearing aids in the scanner. They have a magnetic driver, and the magnet will lock it up, and they just won't work, and they're expensive. So don't bring your hearing aids to the scanner.
Right. So we're speaking with James Sneed this morning here at the Pagosa Springs Medical Center, MRI Technologist. We're going to take a quick break and then come back and just see if there's anything else we want to talk about, and maybe some suggestions or ideas on how to contact the hospital. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. We're back. Good morning, Pagosa, live from the Pagosa Springs Medical Center with James Sneed, the MRI Technologist. And like I mentioned earlier, we had a tour of the new MRI from Siemens, and it is very impressive, and it is relaxing in that room. I mean, it's a
very relaxing room.
Yes.
It's designed to absorb sound.
Right.
We have music available. We have multiple lighting systems in the room, actually. And I guess I would say that, it's just not the scary scanner that it used to be. And if you feel like you're someone who is still going to be afraid in the scanner, discuss it with your physician. And your physician can get you oral medications. You'd pick it up at the pharmacy as you would any script. And you would take medications ahead of getting your scan. And for most people, that's about all they need these days. Most people do just fine. We do not do IV sedation here.
Yeah. And then, as mentioned, no radiation. And basically, if you want to find out more, you call the hospital and set up an appointment. Normally, they have a primary care here. They have the CT, as mentioned, and X-rays and all this stuff, and then
and ultrasound,
well. Mammography, a new
mammo room,
right?
3-dimensional mammo.
Yeah.
New stereotactic biopsy. And now the magnet does breast imaging as well.
Right.
And we do quite a bit of abdominal imaging now.
You were mentioning that.
As well.
Right.
And there's a rule for that. We have people not eating after midnight, and we do our abdominal imaging first thing in the morning because of that.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So amazing piece of equipment, and what an investment for the hospital. And we don't have to drive far.
No, you don't.
It's right here in Pagosa,
and we do all sorts of advanced exams on the brain. And we do most MRI exams. There are just a few that are required the 3 Tesla scanner.
Yeah, and
there's a 3 Tesla scanner at Mercy.
There is,
and Animas is in the process of purchasing one. Okay. So they're close.
And James was showing me some photos, no identification or anything, but just, for example, you could see the cartilage around the knee joints and stuff. And
you can see the ligaments. You can see all soft tissues, tendons directly.
So for Dr. Bill, that's very helpful, I imagine.
It is the gold standard for orthopedics.
Yeah. And anyway, something just to be really proud of here in Pagosa, our medical center, and the new MRI technology.
And it should support the community and the hospital for 15 to 20 years on this scanner.
Right. Wow. That's great. Well, thanks, James. Really appreciate your time today and the tour and your comments here on our radio show. Anything else, or you just?
No,
I know you have an appointment, so we better get going. But thanks again, and
thank you, Will.
Thanks for everyone tuning in, and have a great Friday, everyone, and a great weekend. We'll see y'all later.